What is good, Prima Gang? It's your girl, PrimaDiva. Welcome back to Gigantamaxing. Last time we looked at 5 Pokemon that could really benefit from gaining Gigantamax forms to get them back into the spotlight. If you haven't seen that video yet, I highly recommend watching that one before watching this one. But anyway, let's go straight into the video. Here are the top 10 Pokemon that need to Gigantamax, Part 2. The number 6 spot will be taken over by someone who needs much more love. Unfortunately though, its pre-evolution gets most of the love. That's right, it's Raichu, who I think needs to get a Gigantamax form. And you know, Raichu is just as cute as Pikachu. I mean, look at how adorable it looks right here. How can you not love its cute little face? With apparently Pikachu gaining one, it'd simply be unfair if its evolution got pushed to the side again. Raichu getting an Alolan form was amazing, and I absolutely love it. It's so adorable. However, it needs more than just that. If Raichu gets a Gigantamax form too, there would be no bias, and they could both make Raichu and Pikachu's form equally as good. Now what if Raichu's Gigantamax form looks very much like its scrapped evolution, Gorochu? Wouldn't that just be absolutely mind-blowing and amazing? You'd think it'd be gone from the face of the earth, but then, boom! It reappears in all its glory in Sword and Shield. Boost its stats a little bit, maybe add a new typing, fighting perhaps? And we got ourselves a gold mine. Since Pikachu gets all of the love, always, it just seems fair that Raichu should get more love than just in the Alolan form, wouldn't you think? Since Galar is based on the UK, more specifically England though, I think a Pokemon that shares inspiration from the iconic Big Ben in London would be a great entry to the Galar decks. However, I have more of a Gigantamax form in mind, and this will be Gigantamaxed Bronzong. This form will be based on the bell that is inside the Big Ben, ringing on the battlefield loudly, and perhaps having a G-Max move that could be sound-based, or maybe sound type. Nah, I'm just kidding. But nonetheless, I'm not sure how many people remember Bronzong. I certainly do. I have fond memories of catching a level 31 in Pokemon Diamond. I was so happy with such a high-level Pokemon on my team. I could imagine it turning silver, just like the bell itself, and ringing its bell when attacking. Having Bronzong receive this form would pay a very nice homage to the Big Ben bell, and also put it more in the spotlight, which it really deserves. If there's another Pokemon that gets looked over way too often, I would definitely say it's Girafarig. Girafarig is a great Pokemon, still the only giraffe Pokemon up to this point. And yeah, it looks really special, but they never made it feel special. Sure, its typing is quite unique, being normal and psychic, but it's got rather mediocre stats, and that's honestly about it. I've always put Girafarig very high in my list of Pokemon that need an evolution. It likely won't ever, so the best next option is a Gigantamax form. Girafarig hasn't been confirmed for the Galar deck, and giraffes aren't really found in England, but neither are they in Japan, so it could honestly go either way. Regarding its Gigantamax form though, I think it should basically be Beta Girafarig. I mean, look at it, how can you not love this? The duality of evil and good is really nice, and we haven't quite had a Pokemon like this before. Gigantamax really makes it seem more like a giraffe too. Sure, giraffes aren't that big, but Girafarig is only 4.11 feet, or 1.5 meters. And that's not big at all. An average person is more taller than that. And instead of it being normal psychic, it should definitely become dark psychic. I mean, it's obvious. It should also probably get an increase in its physical attack, because it definitely looks more like an attacker than a special attacker. And then hopefully, it'll finally get the love it deserves as the only giraffe Pokemon. Next up is another Gen 2 Pokemon that again, not many people often think of. I'm talking about Octillery, which also hasn't been confirmed yet, but hey, octopuses are basically everywhere. I mean, who thinks about this one often? Sure, you remember it because it evolved from Remoraid, which really makes no sense at all. But let's be real, it's not on your mind often. Also, can we talk about how messed up this picture is? So, Octillery is cooking takoyaki, which are a common Japanese dish. However, just look at the ingredients used for that dish. Yeah. So, if it gets a Gigantamax form, what should it look like? Well, I actually have two ideas. The first one is to have it resemble its beta form. It seems to be a trend of this part to bring back a lot of beta Pokemon, but hey, many people love them, and Gigantamaxing Pokemon to have them look like their beta designs is an amazing idea. I mean, Octillery's beta design is a literal tank. Just imagine that. A giant octopus tank firing away at the battlefield. Doesn't that sound badass? I also think that they would be able to get away with it. I mean, Remoraid's beta design is a straight-up gun, while Octillery just looks vaguely like a tank. Not entirely, but still kinda. And then of course they should also give it a steel type because, well, it is a tank. My second idea, however, is for it to resemble the mythical Kraken. The Kraken is a huge cephalopod creature famous all around the globe. Name me one person that doesn't know about this amazing beast. The reasoning behind this idea is simple. Octillery is an octopus, you Gigantamax an octopus, and you basically get a Kraken. As far as more design details go, I think it should look longer and more threatening. Maybe add a dark type, and there you go. Kraken Octillery. If either of these ideas get implemented into the games, I'm sure many people will often think more about the awesome Octillery. I was having a bit of a hard time choosing the last one. There's just so many amazing choices and possibilities. How do I know who to pick? Well, eventually I decided on Behem. Do you remember this one? If you do, you get a medal. Here you go. Here's your very own You Remember Behem medal. No, but really, what I remember from this Pokemon is that it was basically a Worse Reuniclus. But it's an alien though. How cool is that? We don't see many extraterrestrial Pokemon. Unfortunately though, it never felt that interesting to most people. But with Gigantamax, there's just the opportunity to make it a lot more interesting. What I had in mind is perfectly capturing the feeling of pop culture aliens as we know them, by having Behem turn into a huge spaceship. We've already got Magnezone, which looks like a UFO, yeah, but we can make that, but even better and bigger. Have lights pop out of Behem's UFO-like form all over, maybe add steel or flying typing, and we got ourselves a Gigantamax form that people won't easily forget. Alright everyone, that about sums up my Gigantamax top 10 video. I might make more in the future because, like I said, the possibilities are endless and this was surprisingly fun to write. So let me know if you potentially want another part in the future. And of course, which Pokemon you want to see Gigantamaxed, along with telling me your opinion on my top 10. But before I go, I must talk about one honorable mention. A fan commented on the last part saying that Flabébé should get a Gigantamax, but only the flower grows big, and the Flabébé itself just stays the same size. That was pretty funny, and it did crack me up for a bit, but it wasn't enough material to fill up a whole spot with. Anyway, as always, be sure to follow my social media, especially my Twitch and Twitter, as I'm quite active on those. If you want to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon. It's only $1 a month to become a Patreon. And finally, if you want to join my Discord, the link is in the description as well. With that being said, I hope y'all will have a good day, night, or morning, and as always, take care.